Alright, let me tell you a very detailed story about money, from the very beginning up to today. Because, in reality, money is not just pieces of paper or numbers on a screen. It's a whole story about how people learned to negotiate, trade, trust each other, and build complex societies. Long ago, when there was no money at all, people lived very simply. Everyone had their own food, their own home, their own tools, and they got everything they needed directly from nature or by exchanging with neighbors. If you had a chicken and I had an onion, we could just swap. This was called barter. It seemed simple and fair, but the problem was that barter didn't always work. Sometimes you needed something specific, like grain or bread, but you didn't have what the person selling it wanted. Instead of exchanging directly, you had to find a third or even a fourth person to create a chain of trades. It was long, inconvenient, and inefficient. It was also hard to figure out how much your chicken was worth compared to bread or a tool. There was no common measure to help evaluate the value of goods and services. And that's exactly why people started looking for something universal, a product or object that everyone would recognize as valuable, and that could be used as a means of exchange. It could be anything as long as it was rare, useful, durable, and people believed in its value. In different parts of the world, these things were different. In some places, money was in the form of shells, like cowries. In others, salt, which was extremely important for preservation and health, and was even used to pay soldiers, hence the word salary. In Siberia and northern regions, furs were used. In China, tea bricks. Sometimes money was even in the form of beans or beads. But all of this wasn't perfect, and at the same time retain its value over time. And so, after many years, people discovered gold. It's a shiny, heavy metal that doesn't rust or spoil. It was beautiful and rare. Exactly what was needed. Kings and rulers began minting gold coins, stamping them with their portraits or coats of arms. This served as confirmation that the coin was genuine and guaranteed its value. People trusted these coins because they knew real gold. Back then, gold became a universal currency, accepted in all corners of the world. But carrying sacks of gold was inconvenient and dangerous. One could become a victim of robbery. That's when banks appeared, institutions where people could leave their gold for safekeeping. In return, the bank issued a paper receipt, confirming that the person had a certain amount of gold stored there. Over time, people started using these receipts as money, because they were much more convenient to carry and transfer than gold. But banks soon realized that not all clients would come for their gold at the same time and began printing more receipts than they had gold.
That's how paper money appeared. Money not directly backed by gold, but based on trust in banks and the government that issued it. People continued to use these papers because they believed in their value. Money began to turn into digits, numbers in bank computers. Bank cards, electronic transfers, and online banking appeared. Most money today doesn't physically exist at all. It's just records in electronic databases. And it works because we all believe these numbers are money, that they have value, and that we can exchange them for goods and services. If that belief disappears, money loses its value, and an economic crisis occurs. But what is money really? Money is just a tool, a way to simplify exchange and store value. It's an agreement between people that these papers, coins, or numbers will be accepted as a means of exchange. Money shouldn't be the goal. It's a means. Many people forget this and start chasing wealth, buying things they don't need, or spending time earning instead of living. True value is relationships with loved ones, freedom, and the ability to do what brings joy. So it's important to remember, gold is just a metal, paper is just paper, numbers are just numbers, but a person is what really matters. Money is only a part of life, and you shouldn't let it control you.